So this is the second video on how to set up your gradebook by percentages. So in the first video, you learned how to choose weights and a couple other options. And this second part is how to set up those categories, like how do you weight those items. So at the end, I could just click on New Create Category right here. But instead, I'm going to show you what happens if you have to go back and make a change or add a category. So I'm just going to go out to the class homepage. I'm going to go back to grades. And instead of going through the setup wizard again, I'm just going to go to manage grades. Then I'm going to click on new, add category. And in this first category, I'm just going to call it papers. And as I scroll down, I'm going to give it a weight, and I'll have that weight be 30% of all my grading. And under distribution, this part is really important. Most of the time, if you're weighting by percentages like this, you're going to have this middle one checked. If you have that top one checked, you're going to have weights within weights. It'll get confusing. So most of the time, once again, check that middle one. If you're doing something like I have 10 quizzes and I'm going to drop the lowest one or two quizzes, you're going to check that second one and decide what you're going to drop there. So I'm just going to have that middle one checked and save and new. And I'm going to do a couple other categories. I'm going to do exams. I will also have that be 30% and distribute across all items in that category. Save and new. And then I will have quizzes. I'll have that be 20%. And you know what? I will drop the lowest one out of how many I have. And I'm going to do one more, just call it presentations. And that will also be 20%. And save and close. And so everything happens to be 100% here. They all add up. If I had to go ahead and redo those weights for whatever reason, maybe I added something or made a mistake, easiest thing to do would be to go to bulk edit, just like that, and then add, create those percentages of what you need right there. And so if I adjust one of these to 20 and this one to 40, that'll add up to 100% still, and I won't get a nasty message here at the top. So I'm going to quickly add a few assignments to this so I can show you how to reorder your gradebook when you're using weighted categories. All right, as you can see, I just added a bunch of assignments here, and they're in the right categories right here. But if I had to change the categories, if I put something in the wrong category, once again, I went to manage grades. I can put a check mark in there, go to bulk edit, and I could change the weights of the overall categories, things of that nature. So I'm going to go back to the gradebook. And so if you notice, I have papers listed first, exams, quizzes, and presentations. But what if I wanted to change the order of this in my gradebook, for whatever reason? If I wanted to do that, I would go up to Manage Grades. I would click on Reorder, or More Actions and Reorder. And so, for example, if I wanted quizzes to be in that first slot and papers to be in that last slot, I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then when I go back to enter grades, you're going to see that that is reflected in my selection and the reordering. Thank you and have a good day.